Good morning to all my dear students. Welcome back to my class. In my previous video, I started discussing with you all about phrases and clauses. I told you that phrase is a part of the sentence which is a group of words that cannot convey a complete meaning. We always need some other words or some other group of words in order to understand what is being delivered by the phrase, which means that phrase is insufficient by itself or phrase is dependent on another part of the sentence. And what is that other part of the sentence? That is a clause, which means that whenever we write a phrase, we always need a clause in order to understand it. But when we come to clause, then we realize that clause is not dependent on the phrase to express its meaning. Even without phrase, even if I remove the phrase from the sentence and just leave the clause, then also we will be able to understand what that part of the sentence is trying to tell us. So that we learned in our previous video, as well as I told you that when phrase is dependent on the clause or when clause does not meet the phrase to make us understand its meaning, then why do we need a phrase? We need the phrase because it gives us some additional information. So that was what we did in our previous video. Today we will learn a few more things about the clause, as well as we will try to find out a few differences between phrase and clause. So, see students, here I have written a sentence, and what is that sentence? The child is playing in the field. So, this is a complete sentence and we all can understand its meaning, isn't it? We can understand that there is a child about whom we are talking, and that particular child is playing. And where is the child playing? He is playing in the field. Now, if I want to find out the clause and the phrase in this sentence, then what do I need to see? Which part is dependent on the other? If I find out one part which is dependent on the other, that means I shall be able to find out the phrase. So here the child is playing in the field. If I just take this part in the field and just write it over here in the field, then it's not clear to us. Simply if I write in the field, then nobody will understand its meaning. We will be confused, like what about the field? So in order to understand this part, I shall always need the part the child is playing. Therefore, this part is the phrase of the sentence which cannot deliver its own meaning. But if I only write the child is playing, if I remove in the field and only write child is playing, still my sentence is complete. So, we see that the clause is never dependent on the phrase to explain itself. So, you might be thinking that this is the same thing that I have repeated in my previous video. So, what are we going to learn new today? So, dear students, today first thing that we will learn is the similarity between a clause and a sentence. So this is very important for all of us to understand that what is the similarity between a clause and a sentence. Now see students, I have written a sentence over here. What is it? A clause is a sentence within a sentence. You might be thinking, what is the meaning of it? It means that clause, which is actually a part of the sentence. Clause is not a sentence in reality. It is just a part of the sentence. But what did I write? A clause is a sentence within a sentence. This is actually a sentence inside this whole sentence. What is the whole sentence? The child is playing in the field. And which is the clause? The child is playing. Now I am telling that the child is playing is a sentence itself. Within this whole sentence, the child is playing in the field. Now you might be thinking, how is it possible? How can a clause which is actually a part of the sentence be a sentence on its own? Okay, so let's prove it that the clause is a sentence, or it has the qualities of a sentence. When I began explaining you phrases and clauses in my previous video, the first thing that I discussed with you was about sentence, and I gave you 3 important points of the sentence which I am sure you all remember. So let's write those 3 important features. Firstly, every sentence has a subject. Yes. Next, every sentence will always have a predicate. And the third thing, the third quality of a sentence is that it will always have a verb. See, let us find out these 3 things in this sentence. The child is playing in the field. If this is a sentence, then this will have all the 3 characters that I have written here. In this whole sentence, the child is playing in the field. So, subject, what is a subject? The noun or the pronoun about whom we are talking. So, about whom are we talking in this sentence? We are talking about the child. Therefore, the child is the subject of the sentence. Next, what is a predicate? We need to find out a predicate. Whatever we say about the subject is the predicate. So, what am I saying about the child? That he is playing in the field, which means that this whole part is our predicate. And the third quality that I need to find out here is verb. So, this playing is a verb. So, hence we found that this whole thing is a sentence because it has a subject, it has a predicate, it has a verb, and it is conveying a proper meaning. Now, what I need to prove is a clause is a sentence within a sentence. It means that if this clause, the child is playing, let me write this below. I'll just extract it. I'll remove that in the field. So this is the whole sentence. The child is playing in the field. What will I do is, I'll bring down the clause part. I'll just write the clause. The child is playing. So I just wrote the child is playing. Okay. So as soon as I write the child is playing, we need to remember that this is not the whole sentence. This is the part of the sentence that is written on the top. And I need to prove that this part has all the qualities that a sentence has. If it is a sentence within a sentence, then it should have all the qualities that we have in a sentence. And what are those qualities? It should have a subject, it should have a predicate, and it should have a verb. So let us find out whether this part that we are calling a clause does have those qualities or not. Firstly, see, we need a subject. So the child is playing. About whom are we talking? We are talking about the child. So your child is the subject. Next, we need a predicate, which means whatever is being spoken about the subject or here about the child. What are we speaking about the child? That he is playing. So this is my predicate. And thirdly, I need to find out if it has a verb or not. It has. We have playing as the verb. And next, does it have a complete meaning? Can we understand what is being spoken? Yes, we can understand that the child is playing. Therefore, we see that this part that we call the clause has all the qualities of a sentence. Hence, we can say that a clause is a sentence within a sentence. So, it means that whenever we have a clause, it will always have a subject, it will always have a predicate, and it will also have a verb. So, these are the 3 important qualities of a sentence which we can find in a clause also. So, these are the important features of a clause, and hence it has similarity with the sentence and it can explain itself, and therefore it is self-dependent because it can express its meaning. So after this, now the next thing that we need to learn is the difference between a phrase and a clause. We need to understand what is the difference between a phrase and a clause. So now let's come to the differences between phrases and clauses. So the first difference between phrase and clause. See, I have written phrase does not express complete meaning, whereas clause expresses the complete meaning most of the times. So this is very clear. I have already said you that phrase cannot express the complete meaning, which means we cannot understand just by reading the phrase what actually the sentence wants to say. But clause can do that. Just by reading the clause, we can understand what it is trying to say. But I have added most of the times. Now, why I have added most of the times, that we will understand in my next video when I talk about the kinds of clauses. Next, number 2. Phrases do not contain subject and predicate. Like when I write in the field, then you neither have a subject here nor a predicate. So, phrases do not contain subject and predicate. Whereas, clauses contain subject and predicate. We have already proved that, isn't it? Next, phrases cannot stand alone. I cannot simply write in the field and say my sentence is complete. I shall need another part. So, it cannot stand alone. You cannot simply write this as a sentence. Clauses can stand alone. That means without adding the phrase, still we can write a clause. So my dear students, with that we have learnt about clauses and phrases. What did we learn? That both clause and phrase are two parts of a sentence, where the clause is the independent part of the sentence which can express itself, whereas phrase is a dependent part of the sentence which needs the clause to make us understand the meaning of the sentence. And then what is its function? The function of the phrase is to add meaning to the clause. So with that, I end up my class today, my dear students. In my next class, I shall give you some work to do on phrases and clauses, and then I shall start with the kinds of clause. So till then, bye-bye. Have a good day.